Let me tell you the truth about people-pleasing. We've all heard it before. Phrases like, I just want everyone to get along, or I'm a peacemaker, I hate conflict. And on the surface, that sounds admirable, even kind. But let's dig a little deeper, because people-pleasing isn't as selfless as it appears. It's not about kindness or compassion. It's about control, fear, and in many ways, dishonesty. When we say yes to things we don't want to do, when we avoid expressing our true feelings, or when we bend over backward to make sure no one's ever upset with us, we're not doing it for them. We're doing it to keep the peace, yes, but also to keep our sense of self intact. If people like us, we feel safe. And if we can avoid conflict, we can avoid discomfort. It's a way of maintaining this illusion that everything is okay, even when it's not. People-pleasing is a survival mechanism, and for a lot of us, it starts young. Maybe you grew up in a household where it wasn't safe to be anything other than agreeable. Maybe you learned that love and approval were things you had to earn by being easy, quiet, and undemanding. As kids, we absorb everything around us, and if you learn early on that your needs are secondary to everyone else's, it becomes second nature to minimize yourself, to make yourself smaller so that others can be comfortable. But let's be honest here. Constantly putting others' needs before your own isn't sustainable. It's exhausting. And the thing about people-pleasing is that it doesn't really please anyone. Sure, in the short term, you might avoid a confrontation or keep someone from getting upset, but long term, it leads to resentment, misunderstandings, and a deep disconnect between who you are and who you're pretending to be. I want you to imagine a friend, someone close to you, someone you genuinely care about. Imagine if you found out that every time they said yes to you, they actually wanted to say no. That every time they smiled, it was to mask frustration, exhaustion, or even sadness. How would that feel? Would it feel like an honest relationship? Or would it feel like betrayal? Like something false? That's what people-pleasing does. It puts a barrier between you and others, even when your intention is to bring people closer. Because if you're not being true to yourself, how can anyone truly know you? They can't connect with the real you if they don't see the real you. I know the idea of dropping the act feels terrifying. What if they don't like the real me? What if I lose my friends, my family, my sense of belonging? That's the fear that keeps people-pleasing alive. The fear of rejection, of being too much or not enough, or just plain unlovable. But here's the thing. True belonging, real connection, can't happen without honesty. You can't be loved for who you are if you never let people see who you are. Sure, some people might not like it when you start saying no, or when you express an opinion that they don't agree with. But what you'll discover is that the people who truly care about you will still be there. In the relationships that survive that honesty, they'll be stronger, deeper, and more authentic than anything you could have built through people-pleasing. I'm not saying this shift is easy. It's not. Learning to break free from this pattern can feel like learning to walk again after years of limping. You might feel unsteady, awkward, maybe even guilty. But this is where your growth starts, when you begin to honor your own voice, your own needs, without apology. And let's talk about boundaries for a second, because this is key. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They're guidelines to let people know how to love you best. When you start setting boundaries, you're teaching others how to treat you, and you're also showing them that you respect yourself. It's not about being selfish or inconsiderate. It's about showing up as your full self and inviting others to do the same. Think about it. When you stop people-pleasing, you're giving others the gift of seeing the real you. You're saying, this is who I am and this is what I need. That's vulnerability. That's authenticity. And that's what real relationships are built on. Let me be clear. This isn't about never doing things for others. Compassion, generosity, and kindness are beautiful things, but there's a difference between choosing to be kind and feeling like you have no other choice. There's a difference between helping because you want to and helping because you're scared of what will happen if you don't. If you are listening to this and it feels like I'm describing you, I want you to take a moment to think about where this pattern might have started. Maybe it's been there as long as you can remember, or maybe it's something that developed over time in response to a particular relationship or situation. Wherever it came from, recognize that it served a purpose. It kept you safe in its own way, but it's okay to let it go now. You don't need it anymore. The next time you're tempted to say yes when you really want to say no, pause. Ask yourself why. Are you genuinely excited to do this thing? Or are you just trying to avoid discomfort? Are you acting out of love or out of fear. The more you practice this, the easier it will become to recognize when you're people-pleasing and when you're being authentic. And if you're struggling to find your voice, start small. Maybe it's as simple as expressing a preference, something tiny, like where you want to eat for lunch. Or maybe it's letting someone know that you need some time to think before making a decision, rather than agreeing right away. Every small step is progress, and every step will bring you closer to the person you truly are. Remember, you are not responsible for managing other people's emotions. You are not responsible for keeping everyone around you happy. What you are responsible for is your own well-being, your own peace, and your own truth. It's okay if people don't always like what you have to say. It's okay if someone gets upset. That's their journey, not yours. Your job is to be true to yourself, to live your life with integrity, and to surround yourself with people who respect that. The truth about people-pleasing is that it's a mask that hides who you are and what you need. But you don't have to wear that mask forever. You can take it off, even if it's just for a moment, and see what it feels like to be seen, to be heard, and to be understood. It's a scary thing to be vulnerable, but it's also the only way to experience real connection, real love, and real freedom. And that's worth it every single time.